Blog Talk Radio.
Special technique. Special technique of shadow boxing. Special technique of shadow boxing. Shadow boxing. Shadow boxing.
Show on Tuesdays at 8:30 on the MRN Broadcasting Network, which is what I'm on here live on right now. We also have the CMT Firestorm Football Talk Show on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. with Clausel Methods, Cali Mike, Chi-Town, and the Mouth of the South, Tony Watley. So you can catch those sister shows that we have on there and check them out where you could just call in. Like you could call in here. Number is 347-237-5539. Once again, the number is 347-237-5539. We have a lot to talk about in this show here. We have, we had a busy day yesterday as far as fights are concerned with, Deontay Wilder fighting Nicholas Walters. Being able to do their thing in the ring, and next week is the fight between Adrian Broner and Sean Porter, so we will be able to touch on that. And also on this show live, we will have Super Zab Judah to speak with us on a few things that he's doing right now, and other highlights that he's had in his career. So that's going to be happening around 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Be sure that you tune in for that. So we'll have that going on here. So we'll pretty much be getting right into it. But before I do that, just want to, get this out here. One of my good friends over in the Tampa Bay area, Gary Riley, has a daughter, Kari Jones, who's a young prospect for the amateur circuit in USA Boxing, and she's going out to try out for the Olympics, and they have a fundraiser going on GoFundMe called Train for Gold. That's TRAN for the number 4 gold. So TRAIN the number 4 gold. Train for Gold on the GoFundMe website to help with costs of travel, clothing, training, food, and that type of thing, so that she'll be able to get to these amateur events that they have for the USA boxing team, and see if she'll be able to make the Olympics. It's going to be in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. So that's what we got going on so far. So let's get right into it. We have, the fights that went on last night. Well, number one, we have the card that was in Alabama last night that featured the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder and his fight against Eric Molina. Well, it was, quote unquote a hometown type of fight for Deontay Wilder, trying to, impress the Alabama crowd and that type of thing, but he ended up getting the knockout against Eric Molina and scored that win to retain his heavyweight championship. And that fight basically, went a few rounds there. He, basically got Eric Molina out in 9 rounds. It almost looked like he was kind of nervous out there, but even with that, the performance that he had was, I'd say, was kind of lackluster. I thought that, he would be able to blow out somebody like Eric Molina. Molina was looking going out there looking like Chris Arreola out there in the ring. He didn't look like much different than Chris Arreola as far as like appearance is concerned. So somebody that's supposed to have the skills of Deontay Wilder is supposed to blow out in Eric Molina, and I've seen a good amount of flaws coming in there in this fight out of Deontay Wilder, and it's going to be something to see what he's going to be able to do against fighters that are of a better caliber. Seem like he drops his hands a lot. He doesn't move around the ring as much, even though he has kind of thin legs for a heavyweight. He doesn't move around the ring that much, so if he gets hit with a good counter, that might rock him a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do against the higher caliber fighters, the Alexander Povetkin, the Tyson Furies, um, other fighters like that. They keep saying that he might end up fighting Vladimir Klitschko in the future, but the way that he's looking right now, if he fights somebody with some type of skill with a good jab, he might not be able to make it to fight Vladimir Klitschko. Povetkin is his mandatory at WBC as he is the number one contender in that division. So they're in the works to try to get that fight done, which may happen within 4 or 5 months. So you may see it in October or November. And the next in line in the WBC is Anthony Joshua, who was a young Olympic prospect out of the UK, who's also undefeated and scored a recent win a couple of weeks ago in the undercard of Kell Brook's IBF welterweight title fight. So we'll be able to see what Deontay Wilder is able to do against those type of fighters. Once again, we are live on the Boxing Source Radio Show. You can call in live at 347-237-5539. Once again, that's 347-237-5539. They also had on the undercard of Wilder's fight against Molina, they had the young prospect there, J-Rock Julian Williams, who is a young prospect out there that I basically watched since I saw him down in Vegas over in September. So he also was in that card for Deontay Wilder. And he was able to get some good work in his fight that he had in Alabama. And he was able to beat Arman Osepian in a 6-round TKO. He scored a knockdown in the first round of the fight, but basically dominated this fight against Osepian. And there was news out there that he was looking towards another fight in the near future going on, and they said it may happen, around the month of September. Looking here in recent articles, I see something here on Boxing Scene that says that it may be a possibility that he may fight Austin No Doubt Trout. With his win over of Sepian, that may lead to another fight against Austin Trout. So that may be a possibility. See if you will be able to see that in the near future. It may be in September or sometime in the future. So we may be able to get either Julian Williams or Austin Trout to kind of speak on that a little bit. And see if Williams is a good prospect as far as being in there against the likes of a veteran like Austin Trout. Because Austin Trout has, scored a win over Miguel Cotto, and had a close fight against Canelo Alvarez. So he's going to be a record veteran that's out there that Julian Williams will be able to get into the ring with and see if he's ready to really face the big boys out there. So that basically that real quick just goes over what we had, over the weekend over in the card that we have for Wilder against Molina, and then on the flip side, we also had another boxing match out there over in the New York area where you had Nicholas Walters fighting Miguel Mariaga. Now, Nicholas Walters, the thing with Nicholas Walters was he was a featherweight prospect, rated by some as the number one rated featherweight out there, but in the weigh-in before the fight against Mariaga, he ended up being overweight. And so, with him being overweight, the title was basically not on the line in reference to him. So, if Mariaga won the fight, he would have been the WBA featherweight champion. But since he lost, it seems like the WBA title is vacant. And going off of Walter's win against Donaire, you would think he'd be able to carry that momentum and defend the featherweight championship against Mariaga, but he ended up just being overweight, and so that belt might be, still vacant or up in the air. So we'll see what happens here in the near future. There is talks out there that he may want to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. Recently, won his fight in the card that recently won his fight that he had on the card for Mayweather Pacquiao against Gamaliel Rodriguez. And while he just has only 5 fights under his belt, Loma does, he is the WBO featherweight champion. So, it's almost like looking at somebody like Guillermo Rigondeaux, who only had about 10 or 12 fights when he fought Nonito Donaire, and he was still able to defeat Donaire with, ease, basically, because he had a very extensive amateur career, and this might be the same here with Loma, as he may have had an extensive amateur career, so they kind of like put him out there with the guys that had a much longer professional career and then more, get a decision or score a decision, or was even in a close fight with his only loss that he's had in his career so far. So that would be interesting if that fight is still in the cards in the future, or not, because of Walter's recent thing where he was overweight for this latest fight. Now we have 336 calling in on the line. What's going on?
What's going on with you, Jerry?
Doing good here, doing good. Just going over the past weekend, and just went on where Nick Walters was overweight for this featherweight championship fight. And that we spoke earlier about that, and how these fighters that have the belts are coming in overweight.
Yeah, something needs to be done about it. I mean, it's a shame if you look at the display he put on, and not to leave with the belt. I mean, it's basically absurd, I mean, I don't understand. Have you grown out of the weight class, or I mean, what is it? I mean, because it basically happens too randomly. I mean, you see it all the time where guys don't make weight. So I don't know what Walter's excuses were, but I don't see why he didn't make weight, because he fought him. He's a beast,
Yeah. And the thing is that he's he's been there at featherweight for a while, and it's not like, he didn't come in overweight for his previous fights or anything like that. I mean, he's, like I said, he had that score they win against Donaire, Victor Archinian, he beat. I mean, he had defended the featherweight championship for about at least a few years now. So it's not like he's necessarily grown out of it. It doesn't seem like he's grown out of that weight. But for this fight here, it seemed like he was just not focused on making weight.
What was he like? What was he like? 1.7 pounds over, and what they give him 2 hours to come back. And I think he had he took the pound off, but he couldn't take the 7/10 off or whatnot.
Yeah, he failed to be weighing on 2 of them, so he came in at 127.
Okay, because I know I thought I read that he had shedded a pound, so he was probably almost 2 pounds over.
Right.
But then when when you get to that point, maybe he's at the point where he may be growing out of it, because like you say, he's been in the weight class for a few years now. So maybe he's at that point where that last couple of pounds is getting to be hard, Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure he weighed himself Monday and Friday. So, I mean, I don't know how they missed it,
Right. I mean, that's something where we would have been able to think that he would kind of, get to a point where he would notice that he's getting in there overweight, and I guess he wasn't able to do that. But I mean, my thing is it's strange that he's not able to make weight, but you had something the week before where we had a concern if Daniel Gill was going to be able to make weight, because we said that he was 10 pounds over a week before the weigh-in, and then he was still able to make 7.
Right. But then again, you know what? I mean, if you look at Walters, maybe, like I said, maybe he's at the point where he may know he's grown out of the weight class. Okay, he'll move up to the next weight, and he could regain another title without a doubt. But it didn't affect his purse. I didn't see anything where they took any money from his purse. Did you?
Nah, I haven't seen any reports on that yet.
Okay, so let's say if it don't affect his money, it's just a title, because he already knew that he's probably gonna leave anyway, and he put on a great performance. So if he's at the point where he's leaving, the fight was basically for the paycheck.
Yeah. And it was like you said, man, if you have the belt and you're not able to make weight, then not only should you basically be stripped of the belt, but you should also be fined or something like that. Because, I mean, if you're stripped of the belt, then my thing is you don't have to pay those sanctioning fees. So you basically save money. You know what I mean? That's almost like just saying, hey, I'm giving up the belt. So, and when you don't make weight, you don't get punished for it, then what's the point?
Unless, I mean, well, in some situations, they're fine for every pound or every half a pound or whatever that they're off, but not all. So that's the reason why it occurs so much is, like you say, as long as the guys don't have anything in the contract stating that I'm going to lose X amount of dollars if I don't make weight, they really don't, it's like it's as of no concern, because if they're ready to move up, they're going to move up anyway, and we all know the next weight class up, he'll still be real good, so him getting a title shot or not getting another title I mean, it's nothing. I mean, he'll get another title. So I mean, it just, but the paycheck is very important to him, you know. So his money wasn't affected. So they got to make it a way where it's gonna affect their money, and I guarantee you, they have a good nutritionist to make sure they make that weight.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, if you really are focused on being the champion in a specific weight class, or trying to prove yourself that you're the best in the weight class, then you'll pretty much do anything it takes to, keep in that weight, keep around that weight, and still be able to have enough skills to carry that weight and your mobility or your power over to beat the other contenders at that weight class. So, and I would have thought that Nicholas Walters would have been one of those guys to do that, but as it showed, he just didn't make weight, and after 2 attempts, he just, couldn't do it. So, but I mean, maybe he has grown out of it since, he's at, he was basically at 127 or something like that. It wasn't like, considerably bigger, like almost like at 130, coming in the weight scales of 130, where you're almost at the levels, 2 levels above. You know what I mean? So.
All right.
Yeah, maybe he's gotten to the point where 125 just ain't cutting it, where he's not able to make that weight. Maybe just have to end up.
Yeah, maybe so. We'll probably hear announcements from him that he can't make the weight anymore. Probably soon.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. Within the next week or so. And we'll be able to see that, he'll just go to the next weight class, which kind of like knocks down the possibility of a fight against Lomachenko, even though he says he wants to fight him. But if he's just going to be at, 127 and up, and Loma's still there at 125, then I don't see that fight happening anytime soon.
Maybe not. I mean, but the money's right. Believe me, he'll make the weight, and that fight right there will bring good money to fight. So I mean, and it's not like you say. It's not like he missed it by a whole lot. He can find a way for that fight. I guarantee he'll find a way to make sure he's on weight.
So yeah, that was the other thing that we had on there, and like I said, I was talking about J Rock's thing, where he was able to score a TKO victory against Sevsepian, and there's like recent reports of him probably trying to get a fight in the future against Austin No Doubt Trout. Over there at the 154-pound division. So I don't know if it'll be in that September card, but that would be a good matchup there between Williams and Trout, and we would see if Williams would be good enough to defeat somebody like Trout. We had we had Erislandy Lara able to defeat Trout with his skills, so Julian might be able to look and see how Lara was able to defeat him and probably try to imply that same game plan.
Yeah, without a doubt, that would, J-Rock has all the goods, and a win over Trout would let the world know that he's ready, and it'll put him in a good place for a title shot. If he could beat Trout, and I think he can. I mean, this kid, he has the goods, and that will put him right in a hunt for a title shot, maybe early part of next year.
Yeah, that would really put him in there as far as like getting that title shot in the 154-pound division, which is a pretty extensive division out there. I mean, you still have Like I said, you have Lara, you have K9, you have Canelo, the Charlo brothers, um, Ishe Smith's there. So it's a pretty deep division there on in the top, as far as like the
Yeah,
top 10, 15 fighters.
it's very deep. And then what's good about this weight class? You got a lot of young lines that's coming up. Like I say, Canelo's young. He's a big name, but he's still young. Okay. Besides Issei, Trout, and Laura, they the older guys, and K9 is the oldest of the bunch. But if you look at the Charlo brothers, you got Canelo, you got K9. I mean, this division right here got a bright future. And then not only that, you can see 160 in the future is going to really be good too, because these guys will eventually go to middleweight. And I mean, I really like how this weight class is shaping up. And it's just a matter of time for Keith Thurman or somebody like that probably move up to 54. So this class right here could be special for long.
Right. All right, what we're about to do here is we're about to get into a little commercial session, and then once we get back, we'll have on the line Super Zab Judah with us. So y'all hold on just a minute as we run a commercial here, all right? Football talk like you've never heard it before. Possibly one of the funniest podcasts in sports today. That's right, the CMT Firestorm Football Talk Show every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on Blog Talk Radio. We have Cali Mike, Chi-Town, Carcel Mathis, and the mouth of the South, Tony Watley. They give you a different perspective of football that may not be found anywhere else. You may also catch the callers with some classic lines as well.
There's a blackout level.
What is it?
I gotta look it up. I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head.
Okay, I know you're in front of your computer right now. Look it up.
I'm about to look it up right now, alright?
National blackout level.
I never said national blackout level, liar.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Florida blackout level. Whatever blackout level you want to look it up. I'll wait.
You can't compare a fifth-year quarterback to a 20-year quarterback. How do you compare Cam Newton to Peyton Manning? That's impossible.
I don't even think Cam Newton's going to get a contract extension.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the worst franchise in the National Football League. The worst franchise in the National Football League.
The difference between Jameis Winston, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton is Jameis Winston has the ability to lead a team to a championship.
Once again, people, the CMT Firestorm Football Talk Show every Wednesday night on the MRN Broadcasting Network.
Jameis Winston is just stupid.
All right, folks, we are back live on the Boxing Source Radio show here. The number to call in is 347-237-5539. That was a commercial for one of our sister shows that we have on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Blog Talk Radio and American Broadcasting Network, that CMT Firestorm Football Talk Show. Right now, we're about to get on the line here with the multi-division champion, straight out of Brooklyn, now residing in Las Vegas, Nevada, Zab Judah. What's going on?
Hello.
Yeah, Zab.
Hello.
What's going on with you? How you doing?
Yeah. What's going on, baby? How you feeling? What's going on with you?
Doing real good, Zab. Doing real good. Just seeing here. We got you on here live, and we basically were speaking the previous week about what was going on with what you were doing so far, and I see that you have this SMG group out there. So I wanted to see if you wanted to talk about that a little bit to start off.
Yeah, well, SMG Group is a super management group. It's a boxing management group that I started myself and my partner Bill Hawkins, and we're just doing our thing with it right now. You know what I'm saying? We got Hermanito De La Torre with it, Chuy Gutierrez with it, and we just going at it. We just going big time. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two guys that we pushing right now, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Chuy's he's 14-0. Hermanito's 16-0, and he's out of the Philippines, and Chewy's out of Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we had Chewy on the show live last weekend. We were able to get a few things out of him and what he was doing at his recent fight that he had over there in Vegas, and we're just going to be on the lookout for him. So we'll be able to see what those two fighters are able to do in the near future. But real quick, also with that, I also wanted to see if we could go over, what you did over the course of your career. I mean, I've been basically following you since the 2000s, actually since 2000, when I saw you against Gerard Millette for the IBF Super Lightweight Championship. So you wanted to go over a few highlights over there in your career?
Yeah, but you know what? Before we get into that, Chewy Gutierrez is a force to be reckoned with, guys. I want you guys to just pay close attention to him. You know what I'm saying? He's a Mexican-American fighter, a boxer. He just fought on CBS. You just caught him. He fought in a draw. You know what I'm saying? He's looking to we're looking to have a rematch with that fight coming up again sometime in September. You know what I'm saying? Hermanito de la Torres, he's a Filipino fighter out of the Philippines. He's fought on two of Manny Pacquiao's undercards. He's caught knockouts both times. I mean, he just fought last month with a fourth round knockout. So he's another force to be reckoned with. Now, as you were saying about that.
Yeah, we was talking about your career highlights. 'Cause like I was saying, I've been following you since 2000 when you basically, it was like not that far off when you won the Super Lightweight Championship, and you scored that knockout against Gerard Millette in 2000. So just wanted to go over, a few highlights of, winning the Super Lightweight Championship and also basically the undisputed welterweight championship against Corey Speen.
Just those are moments, those are highlights, those was fights. I mean, that happened at the time. Those were the people that they put in front of me, and I was very focused. I was very determined. I was very hungry, and I went in there and did what Zab Super Judah does. You know what I'm saying? Gerard Millette was a very tough, strong individual. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was a fighter that was not to be underestimated. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had dynamite power. Actually, he dropped me, I think, in the first round. He hit me with I was reaching in. My dad would kept telling me, don't reach in. And I reached in for an uppercut, and boom, he hit me with a hook and dropped me. You know what I mean? But I got up to win a TKO victory over him, and that was a great night of fighting.
Yeah, but you also got some praises from I think it was Irish Mickey Ward that said that was like his toughest fight that he had over his career was against you because he had to deal with all your speed and your movements too, because you were like one of the fastest fighters out there in the ring, in my opinion, probably the fastest fighter that was out there for a good amount of time.
I mean, Mickey Ward, what I'm saying, I'm very honored to hear him say that because I have the same remark about him myself. He was probably and is one of the toughest and competitive fights that I was in, throughout my career. He was one of the tougher guys that, he really made me work at a young age. I was young. I came in, I had a lot of hand speed, a lot of good power, and, Mickey Ward was one of the first opponents to make me really, work. And, I have all the respect in the world for him, So, yeah, he is one of the toughest fights I've ever been in my life. Yeah,
true that. Before I get into any more questions here, I'm going to have somebody else here on the line with me. 813-482. Who's that? And where you calling from?
Nakari Jones from Tampa, Florida.
How you doing,
Nakari? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
We're doing great.
Good.
Yeah, just here live with Zab Judah here, and basically talked about your movement that your dad is putting up for the fundraiser through GoFundMe as far as your trek to try to get to the Olympics. What's the updates on that so far?
Hey, this is Gary. Hey, Zab, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. But we still have it up. The goal is not met yet, but we're staying positive and looking. She's still in the gym. She's training. She's still with Kelly in Brooklyn, but right now she's in Tampa. She's with doing some work with Tony Morgan.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, just going through. Oh, what you saying there?
We're still trucking it, man. We're still staying busy. She's still on task. The National Golden Gloves is 2 weeks away, and that's the reason she's in Tampa. And after the Golden Gloves, she's going back up to Jimmy Boxing to finish getting ready for the qualifiers.
Nice.
All right, gotcha. Hey, Zab.
Well, good luck to her. I wish her the best.
Thank you very much.
No problem, Shan. Keep going hard.
Yeah, Zab, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we could open up the line here for questions. Hey, Greg, you still on?
Yeah, I'm still on.
All right, do you have a question for Super Zab?
Yeah, Zab, I first read about you in Ring Magazine when you was with Main Event and Lou Duva. And I remember Duva saying that when you and Whitaker was spar, he couldn't tell you guys apart in the ring. And the moment that was said, I put a magnifying glass on you because I knew you was going to be special. All right. Now, what was it like at that age, because you were a young kid sparring with Whitaker, and what all did you learn from Sweet Pea? Because to me, he was one of the best that I ever saw, And I'm pretty sure you still take some of those things with you to this day, even though you're a seasoned vet.
First of all, hands down, Pernell Whitaker is one of the best defensive pound-for-pound fighters in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, when I was in there with Pernell Whitaker, I was 15 years old. The first time that dude brought me to training camp, I was coming out of Brooklyn. I was a young kid, you know what I'm saying? We were still in a poverty environment, and he came to me after I won the Golden Gloves, and he said, would you want to come to training camp and spar with Pernell Whitaker? And I'm like, yo, dude, what is this, a joke? Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? He like, for real, you could come to camp, we're going to bring you to Virginia, and you're going to spar and train with Pernell Whitaker. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. So, I thought it was a dream. They sent me a plane ticket. Actually, this was like my first time, I think, I want to say ever on an airplane. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm going from New York to Virginia Beach by myself on the airplane. I come from a big family background, 9 brothers, 4 sisters, my father, my mother, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to training camp with Pernell Whitaker. And, my dad approved it and everything like that. And, once I got there, I was very blown away because I had my own hotel room. This is the first time. I mean, I shared the room with my brother growing up. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then, what I'm saying? So I think for the first, if I remember clearly, for the first 5 days, I didn't even see Pernell. I was in the gym night and day hanging around Ronnie Shields, and I kept asking Ronnie, where's Pernell? And it was like, he's going to come. He's going to come. He's doing conditioning. So I would run from the conditioning gym, run to the boxing gym, run back and forth. Then they said he was running on the beach. I would run to the beach and just sit there and wait. And then finally one day he had came to the boxing gym, and I seen him, and I was like, wow, this is Pernell Whitaker. And you know what they say? Come on, let's go. You up? I said, I'm up. What? They said, let's go. Put your stuff on. You get in the ring with Pernell. And I was just like, oh no, dude, you cannot be serious. This is a dream. You know what I mean? So, but no lie to you guys. I mean, I was very nervous. I was very timid. I was very everything. But when we got in the ring, the first thing he did was he came out with his jab. I remember this clearly. He came out with his jab, and he started jabbing and hit me with a hard left hand. Boom! And I was just like, oh, he trying to hurt me. I was like, okay. And I don't know, I just snapped right out, and I just started fighting. All I remember is when it was all over, everybody was like, yo, kid, you are nice. And, I just went into my whole defensive Brooklyn mode. I was like, hold up, he trying to hurt me. I got to defend myself. You know what I mean? And I guess whatever I did from that day on, it caused the Duvas to sign me, and it caused my career to be at where it's at today.
Yeah, I
go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I remember Lou Duva. He was praising you, and you was just a young pup. So, like I said, if you was in there and you were banging with Pete, you had to be special. But I pretty much watched you grow. I remember being in Miami when you was a young reckless kid. You were a little wilder then, but now I see you in Vegas, and you humbled yourself, and you real laid back. And as a fan, I appreciate that. I mean, I watched your career from the time you started into now, and I still wish you the best. So what's in the future for Zab Super Judah?
Right now we just working. We still working right now. I guess after the Mayweather camp, we got ourselves in such great condition and just great timing, and everything was back on point. We just decided, let's keep running with the show. And right now I'm back at it, sparring, training every day. If you can follow me on Instagram at Zab Judah, follow me on Twitter at Super Judah, and you'll see that I'm constantly training, constantly putting in work. And we're looking at a show right now sometime in July. Zab Judah back at it. I think we're going to publicize on CBS Sports Network. And after that, you guys will see me back on the Showtime HBO dates.
All right, no doubt. Hey, right now we have 916459 on the line. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? It's Mike. I'm calling from California out here.
Mike, what's up, baby? How are you?
How's it going, Zab?
Doing great.
I had a question, man. I mean, boxing, like I said, I don't know, maybe I just came on, I don't know if you answered this early in the show, but, boxing, I know, I don't know if you played any other sports. It just seemed like boxing is so different just because it's just you, Besides you even, the war you even got to fight in the ring, I mean, how do you deal with all the, just all the pressure of just, basically having the world just looking at you? And it's not like football, you don't got a team, or it's just basically it's just you versus another man, one-on-one. I mean, how do you even deal with all that even before you even get in the ring?
Well, you know what? I got a famous philosophy because I got a lot of basketball friends. I got a lot of NFL friends. I got soccer friends. I got all kind of friends, hockey friends. And I always tell them, I said, boxing is the only sport you don't play. You play basketball, you play soccer, you play baseball, you play tennis, you play everything else. You do not play boxing. This is a sport where you have to physically and mentally be ready for anything that comes at you. You know what I'm saying? Any day could be your last day. Any night could be your worst night. You know what I mean? So you have to prepare yourself to the best of your ability, mentally and physically. You know what I'm saying? And then just dealing with the pressure of outside, it's just something that, I don't know, it's something for myself, I can't speak for nobody else. For myself, it took learning experience, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't always the guy that I am today, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was time ago that I was a product of my environment, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is I was Brooklyn, coming out of Brooklyn, New York. That's what I represented. That's what I act like, talk like, walk like, and I represented to the fullest. You know what I mean? And because of that, I got in some troubles, and I got in, minor setbacks. My mind wasn't always 100% focused when it should have been. When I was going in certain fights and certain big endeavors. You know what I mean? But now, like I said, I'm a little more focused. I'm a little more, humble, and I understand the game. And it's just, I just thank God that I'm still here and I'm still able to move on and still be successful 19 years later.
Wow. Do you think that, like, maybe, is boxing, you think boxing is still, well, obviously it is, in some, for some fighters, but in general, do you think boxing is ever going to reach, like, its golden age, like back in the 80s, with, when they had Sugar Ray and Hagler and all that? You ever think that time is going to come back,
Wow, I think that time is right now. I think the time is now. If you look at the sport right now, it's very entertaining. Look at the fight that just happened with Mayweather and Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Look at the draw. Look at the situation, the magnitude, the financial layout that was put in front of these fighters. Look at the financial layouts that was put in Las Vegas. Look at all the money the city of Las Vegas made just on one fight. I mean, they said it was something like 500,000 people came into Las Vegas for the fight, when the arena only holds a little bit under 20,000 seats. So where did all these people go? So this is the excitement that the sport is still drawing. And these are just two competitors, two combatants right now that's pulling in those type of things. Just think about everybody else that's on the way up. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of young, exciting fighters. You know, you got Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? You got my godson going to make his pro debut. You guys keep your eyes and ears on this kid, Devin Haney. Young Devin Haney. He is the force to be reckoned with. I promise y'all going to be hearing his name for a long time. You know what I'm saying? That's my godson right there. And watch, he's going to be no joke. He's 16 years old. He turned professional June 26th in Tijuana, Mexico. And the kid is no joke. This is how great and this how much confidence we have in this kid. At 16 years old, he's making his professional debut. So yeah, right, the sport is still up. The sport is still up. Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Good luck in the future, bro.
Hey, Zab, I got a question and a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
All right. So, first thing, you think you and Chop will ever fight? That's
me and who?
Chop.
Chop what?
Chop Corley. You think you guys will ever do a fight?
We just fought. We fought. Remember, I'm the one that took his world title when he was champion of the world.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that clearly. But sometimes.
Yeah, but how can you say that? Chop is on a situation where he has 26 losses. He just lost his last fight. He was stopped in the 6th round. You know what I'm saying? There is no commission and no situation that will ever sanction a fight between Zab Judah and DeMarcus Colby. That would never happen right now, guys. So and then for number two. When we fought the first time, it was for the championship of the world, and we made millions of dollars. At this point in time of the game right now, what is the why?
All right, no, just a thought I had. And the second thing, Victor Roundtree got arrested, so we chased you down in 2013 in Brooklyn. My daughter was really trying to meet you because she was training with Victor before you passed, and you had just. You and your brothers had just went somewhere, and Vic was like, "He's here, he's in town," and bro, we was behind you like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This is August 2013. Like you stopped at in Harlem to get something to eat. We was right behind you. You had just left. We was chasing you all over town trying to find you, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Sorry for that, man.
Keep passed now, but she has a lot of your style. James knows her really well. She has a lot of your style. She picked up a lot of your stuff. And
What's her name?
Nakari Jones.
Huh?
Nakari Jones.
Nakari Jones. Big shout out to Nakari Jones. Keep it up. Keep working hard. Yeah.
She's strong, man. She's strong, kid. I'm gonna inbox you on Facebook. I'm a friend of yours on Facebook. I'm gonna send you some. She's real. She likes your style, and she's Kelly did a good job with her. I know you know Kelly. He's doing a real good job with her, keeping her strong. Zachary Ochoa is doing real good work with her too. Trying to get her, she's 20 and she's moving up. She's moving up real well.
So she's out of New York.
Well, she's out of Tampa, but trains in New York. She trains with Kelly Richardson.
She trains with who?
With Richardson.
You breaking up? I didn't get it.
Kelly Richardson, Jimmy Boxing.
Oh, Kelly Richardson. Okay. That's what's up. Well, big shout out to her, man. Big shout out to her. I wish her the best, man. Like I tell all the kids, I see you at the top.
We're coming.
All right.
All right, fellas. Have a good night. God bless. All wishes, and the creator of all things is the best thing right now. You can't go wrong. Have a good night.
That's right. Peace.
All right, brother Gary. All right, Zab, we probably got like one more person on the line. I'm gonna see if I could get him to have a question, and we'll let you go after that one. All right?
We can take a couple more calls. It's all right, man. I love the people, man. The people makes you who you are today. No joke.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, I think we got 813-784 on the line.
How's it going, fellas?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, this
show
this
tonight,
is,
man.
Yeah, this is Matt. He's the host for the Cold Hard Truth on Sports that we have on this network called Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.
Okay. What's up, Matt? How are you?
I'm doing good. Just trying to, support the other shows on our network. James does a great job. He's also our boxing editor for the website and one of our lead boxing analysts too. So I know he probably doesn't talk himself up enough, although he should, in my opinion.
I'm a Pisces, man.
James,
I don't do that. Come on, man.
James, listen.
No, man.
Number one, I got some questions for James off air because James is a Bell. My whole family last name is Bells. You know what I'm saying? We the Bells from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So, we're going to talk about that later on. But number two, James is a dope too because James tracked me down himself. We didn't go to no third-party people of making this interview right happen. James tracked me down himself. Was like, Zab, what's up? Hit me on Instagram, on Twitter, and I was like, yo, I need to holler at you. And we made it happen. So you got to understand, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a very hard-working guy. No joke to that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Awesome.
I mean, it was
all
like
a friend and a team. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a question for him?
I just, my questions are pretty general questions. I like to hear what you think about the future of boxing in the U.S. because that's the big thing that I've been on. I said for the last 3 years, I've looked at the ratings, I've looked at the fan viewerships and stuff like that, and I've seen over the last 3 years. This is even talking about Mayweather Pacquiao potentially coming back together that we've heard over the last year and a half. I've seen a surge coming back into boxing. So is this something that you see having a bit more intimate relationship with the sport? Do you see an increase in where when you go places, do you see more fandom in boxing? Do you see boxing coming back to where it was in the mid to late 90s or where it was in the 70s or before that?
Yes. I kind of spoke about this a few minutes ago with the other guy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, boxing has always has his up and downs in life, you know what I'm saying? From the 80s and midway through the 90s, it kind of slowed down a little bit, then it came back, then it slowed down, then it came back. But boxing is always one of those sports where people are going to love because it's a hand-to-hand combat. It shows the real skill of an athlete, you know what I'm saying, of two combatants, you know what I'm saying? Not to say anything bad about any other competitive combat sport that's out there, you know what I'm saying? Not to say anything bad about it, but I mean, let's honestly say, I mean, we are a skillful sport, you know what I'm saying, where it takes a lot of skills and mind thinking to do what we do, you know what I'm saying? It's just not about let me get my hands around you and use my strength to finish you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not about that. It's about how do I make this man drop his hand without me touching his hand? You know what I'm saying? How do I make this man die down? How do I take his energy? How do I zap his energy from him? How do I mentally overload his brain structure to make him just mentally get tired and physically get tired? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of thought pattern that's being put into boxing. This is why the sport will never die down.
It's funny when you say that. I remember it brings me back to an interview I did with the Olympic gold medalist, Greco-Roman wrestler, Rulon Gardner. He echoed almost the same sentiments as you did, and even kind of commenting a little bit on other combat sports. But I think that's one of the unique things between wrestling in and of itself and the Olympic sport of it and boxing, another Olympic sport. I think they're the two most intimate sports you can get involved in. I think people can actually relate with that more than anything because it's mano a mano, man versus man, woman versus woman, and you really do, over the course of a match, get to see what this person is made of, how they're going to react to stress that you put on them, how you're going to react to what kind of pressure they put on you, and that's the art of the sport of the two sports, and that's the things that attract me the most to boxing and to watching actual like Olympic style wrestling. So it's really refreshing to hear that, and I think some of the kids nowadays they don't understand the nuances or don't care to understand some of the nuances too. So what are you kind of thinking about that now? What are you doing right now, Zab? What do you see moving forward that we can do to help this youth to bring, instead of that boxer being the defensive end going to Alabama, how do we get that kid to come box? How do we get the guy, instead of, wanting to go to the NBA or be one and done in college basketball, to be boxing? I mean, what do you think that we need to do more to get those athletes back into boxing and not necessarily going into the other sports?
See, you know what? That's a thing where you might not like what I'm trying to say, but I don't think that you can build a champion. I think champions are born. Champions are made. They're made from birth. You know what I'm saying? Basketball, no disrespect to it, but it's a sport you can teach. Football is a sport you can teach. Tennis is something you can teach. Boxing is very hard to teach because if you're not born with heart, I can't give you heart. If you're not born to take a punch, I can't make you learn how to take a punch. If you're not born with speed, it's very hard to develop the kind of speed you need to stay on focus, to be able to, battle mano to mano with another human being and go toe-to-toe with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, to me, I don't think that, if a person don't have the heart and the desire to box, then you got to leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I tell a lot of, because, I got a lot of father figures that's my friends, and they like, yo, I want my son to box, And I'm like, well, do he like boxing? They like, nah, but, I'm going to buy him these gloves and this bag, and I'm going to keep him in the gym. I'm like, that's not going to do it.
Man.
That's not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to, number one, you're going to scare your kid off. You know what I'm saying? The kid going to be, like, terrified. I mean, yeah, every kid going to do what their dad tell them to do, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent. And then once they're able to make their own decisions, they out of that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a lot of friends that started out with me in the amateurs, and they all started out boxing and doing this because their parents pushed them into it. And as soon as they was able to make a decision for themselves to move out, brother, they never picked up a boxing glove ever again in life. There's some Judas, no joke. There's some blood Judas that started out boxing. Remember, it's 9 of us, and we all, my father put us all in the sport of boxing. But there's some Judas that didn't even excel to a professional career. They're like, oh, no, that's not for me. That's not for me. Just because my family did that, that's not for me. You know what I mean? So you gotta respect that and respect a person's decision, because, like I said, it's a very tough individual sport that you gotta have the heart and integrity to get in there and want to do this. So it's not something you can just say, yo, let me show you how to do the crossover. Let me show you how to cross him up, step here, pass to him. No, it's not that. See, it's not a team sport. Once you get tired, there is no timeouts. Coach, sub me in, sub my opponent. No, you can't. If you get tired in the ring during a fight, the best thing I can tell you is start looking for a soft spot to lay down at. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. Find a soft spot and lay down so you don't take too much abuse. That's it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize, man, is that, boxing is an individual sport. It's nothing where, you have your teammate that could sub for you or nothing like that. I was in high school in Tallahassee, and in my high school, we had one of our deans was Johnson, who fought Cassius Clay way back in the day. We also had 2 prospects come out of there, Tavoris Cloud, and we had like another heavyweight prospect out there, Travis Walker, who won a heavyweight championship. So, and Travis Walker played football in high school too, but boxing was like a whole different animal for him. So we had a few guys that, went into the whole little boxing thing, and, some of them didn't even make it.
Yep. I know what you mean, 100%.
Would you say probably 3 most important things that make you successful in boxing or even in life would be, I call it the PAW, passion, attitude, work ethic?
Passion, attitude, yeah, number 1, 100%. What you put in this game is what you get out. You don't put no work in this game, you ain't gonna get no work out of it.
I have one last question. It's kind of a selfish question because I'm from Nebraska. So I got to hear your take on Terrence Crawford, my guy from Omaha.
I like Terrence Crawford. You know, he's a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty cool. I like the way his left-handed boxing skill style is. You know what I'm saying? He reminds me of myself. You know what I'm saying? He's a good dynamite boxer. I mean, maybe I was a little bit more aggressive than he was, but, you know, as far as skill level and just clean blowout boxing, he's a great individual. And I think that the future is going to see a lot of Terrence Crawford in boxing.
Who would you match him next with? Because I interviewed Thomas Delorme here in Puerto Rico, and I don't know, I saw a little bit of his training. I didn't think Thomas was really up to Terrence's level. But who would you match Terrence with next?
You know what? If I don't get the Pacquiao fight, I would like to see Terrence Crawford beat up on him. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that would be something there. I think that could happen. That could happen. That's a possibility right there, man. That would be an interesting fight.
I mean, they're with they're with the same promoter. So, you know what I mean? I mean, I think, you know, in that fight, the only one that wins is Bob Brown. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to lose. So, you know what I mean? I think why not? It is like a great matchup.
You know, the funny thing is, I watch a lot of boxing. I've covered pretty much every major event here in the last year in Puerto Rico since I've been here, including the World Series of Boxing, which a lot of cats don't even mess around with amateur boxing or Olympic boxing. But I've noticed with rings that are sponsored by the beer Tecate, there's usually more knockouts in those rings for whatever reason. Like the Felix Verdejo fight that was here, that was the last one here, it was here in Guaynabo, like 5 minutes from my house. 9 of the 10 bouts ended in knockout. Only one went to decision. You watch, you'll look at it now. Go watch, greatest knockouts, on YouTube, and you notice, it's Tecate ring. I don't know if there's anything to it, but
I mean, maybe the Tecate brand just has an eye for certain fights that they would like to sponsor. Maybe they know what kind of fights are going to be the exciting fights, and those are the only kind of fights that they sponsor. You know what I mean? So I guess you could say that.
Yeah,
because
that's
they don't sponsor all the fights. You know what I'm saying? They sponsor a select few fights.
I think,
so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much Lee Samuels that does all the Tecate stuff.
Yeah, I know Lee.
From what I know.
I know Lee for a long time.
Yeah,
I know Lee.
He's a good guy.
Lee's a great guy.
From what I know.
Yeah, Lee's a
Never
great
had.
guy.
You know, it's funny out of all the, from the NFL to minor league sports to boxing and all these events and stuff I've covered and went to and stuff like that, I think he's one of the people that's been the most responsive and helpful out of anybody I've really been involved with in professional sports. It's really amazing. Because here in Puerto Rico, they don't have an office here, but they have people here that, they called me up and they walked me through everything. And, it changes when you go international with boxing, with some of the press side of it. It's not as lavish.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't Tecate a Mexican brand?
It's Mexican.
Yeah. Right, so of course they wouldn't be in Puerto Rico. Aren't those guys kind of rivals a little bit?
Yeah, that's where you see a lot of the fights.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, So of course they wouldn't be stationed in Puerto Rico, but would they have a fight with each other? Oh yes, they will.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, because Top Rank has a lot of guys signed from here in Mexico. That's where you see a lot of the fights. Just this last weekend, the two ones on HBO, they were Tecate, sponsored by Top Rank. All for the co-main events.
I think Tecate is really working with Top Rank as far as like putting events on and helping with the promotion and marketing. In Puerto Rico and Mexico and stuff in the United States out there. So they're
When's the last time you were down here?
Who, me?
Zab, when's the last time you were in Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico, I wasn't. Let's see. I was in Puerto Rico maybe about 5 years ago. I love when I come to Puerto Rico,
boxing or getting a tan?
No, just chilling. Always chilling. I have a lot of friends out there in Puerto Rico. Cause I'm from Brooklyn, so I got a lot of Puerto Rican friends. My wife is Puerto Rican. Yeah, my wife is Puerto Rican. Their family's from Ponce. Yeah. So
South side.
Yeah. So and I got tons of friends out there. Tito Trinidad is one of my good friends. You know what I'm saying? Every time I come out to Puerto Rico, I don't know how he knows, but he knows I'm there, and he sends guys out to go get Zab Judah. Bring him to me. He live up in the hills, and he's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How's his English coming along? I know from last couple times I heard his English was kind of rough, but you don't always need a language to talk. You know what I mean?
You know what? Tito's one of those guys that's I don't know what, but he made millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's just that we could tell he never spent not $1 on getting an English tutor. I always tell him, I said, Tito, you made too much money not to learn how to. You made too much American money not to know how to speak the English language. He said, oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
that's my guy. That's my guy right there.
A good friend of mine here, he contributed. He was helping when we were covering the World Series of Boxing. He wrote a couple of articles. He was a trainer for one of Tito's boxing camps down here about 4 years ago. And he told me he pretty much vouched the same thing. So Rosetta Stone was not on his Christmas list. So.
Exactly. Or if somebody bought it for him, he pushed it back under the Christmas tree. So I don't want that.
And I'm good. I speak.
True.
He speaks Puerto Rican too. It's not even like regular Spanish. It's Puerto Rican, and that's a completely different kind of Spanish. I learned that at a more intimate level when I came here because they have completely different words and phrases from other Spanish. So I had to adjust the Spanish I knew to Puerto Rican. So.
Tito no, número uno, campeón. That's all Tito know. Número uno, campeón. That's my boy.
Yeah.
The other day I was getting directions.
He's a good dude, man.
I was getting directions, and the dude said, all right, you got to go down Roosevelt, Rusbel, Roosevelt, right? I'm not an English teacher, evidently. Roosevelt. And I'm like, Roosevelt? And he pointed at Roosevelt. I was like, wow. That's Roosevelt. So Roosevelt is Roosevelt in Puerto Rican. All right, that's cool. I learned that. I learned that new today. So,
right.
Well, you know what? Learning the language.
Puerto Rico is like on a whole different league there as far as, the people there and the culture and all of that. And hopefully I'll get to visit that pretty soon out there. And I guess that, but maybe you'll be able to have a return trip there in the near future, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, I like I said, the family is from Puerto Rico, and I don't know, we might go this summer. I don't know, man. It just depends on what we're doing. You know what I mean? Just right now we're trying to put Team Judah back on the map, and just get in there with some more good fights and show the world I am still one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, and just keep it rolling. That's it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So I mean, we could close out here with the interview, whatever it is. So just wanted to make sure that you run through all the things that you're doing here real quick, and make sure that people are following you on Twitter at Super Judah, and then at Instagram at Zab Judah. So make sure you follow him out there and all that stuff. So you got any last things to say?
Yeah. Look out for the company, SMG, Super Management Group. Like I said, we manage. You know what I'm saying? I'm into sports, and I love sports, and I'm into all kind of sports. I have a lot of relationships throughout the world, so it is what it is. And just keep your eye on Chuy Gutierrez. Keep your eye on Hermanito de la Torres, and just watch out for those guys because they coming. We coming, baby. We still here. SMG.
True that, man. True that. Thanks a lot for coming in on the show, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Hey,
God bless everybody. Yeah.
Fight Danny Garcia. Hey, I want to see you fight Danny Garcia again. That's the Zab that I know. Get Danny's ass in the ring and punish him.
Listen, we could do some business ourselves. You could go in there and convince Danny Garcia and his dad to take a rematch with Zab Judah. We on, baby, because I'm ready right now. I'm ready right now.
Yeah. Zab, look,
I
already know. Hey, Zab, I'm going to tell you, that's the Zab that I know. You sold that dog that night.
Oh, yeah.
And, hey, bro, I was proud of you. Look, I said, if it would have been 2 more rounds, I think you'd have had him. Hey, I want Danny again. I want Danny again at the Barclay, and I'll be there. I'm in North Carolina. I will be up there. Do everything you can to get Danny in the ring.
Everybody always hear me campaigning for that fight. I always talk about that fight. You know what I mean? It just seemed like, I mean, you know what? Since the fight, me and Danny and his dad, we made good friends and stuff like that. But like I said, this is a business to the sport, and the business in the sport stands for the world wants to see a Zab Judah versus Danny Garcia Part 2 back at the Barclays, and this time we're gonna start from the 12th. I mean, from the round 13.
All right.
Let's go to work.
Right. And then you know what, man? It was so much build up with the turmoil to you and getting into it with Oscar. It was a lot of things that went on with that. I mean, it was really interesting to see how everything came out. But the fight, it was all it assimilated all the hype that came with it. I mean, I love that fight. I mean, that's the Zab I want to see come back.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you can keep campaigning and keep letting the world know, maybe somebody might say, let's do it. We got, Al Heyman's the boss right there. Danny got to ask Al, and, once he asks Al okays it, I'm ready to go. SJP Super Judah Promotions is ready at all times. Let's do it.
Maybe we'll
keep
campaigning.
We'll keep campaigning because, I'll get on them on Twitter because I already called him out for something earlier, so I'll get on them for it.
Hey, Zab, I got one more question. I'm going to let you go. Okay?
Yeah.
Man, now, I read all the stuff with you and Paulie, right? Man, it was like, I know you was a champion when Paulie was a kid coming in the gym, right?
Yeah.
And it was like the big brother didn't want to hurt the little brother. It
was no motivation, man. I mean, like I said, I apologize to my fans about that fight. But, moving forward, you're going to see next time I step in the ring in July, you guys will see the real Zab Super Judah step in the ring again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, Paulie got the win, guys. Let's give him the win. Let's don't take away from his shine. And, you know what I'm saying? But we know, Team Judah, y'all, we know what we can do. Everybody that knows Zab, y'all know.
All right, brother. Hey, look, I wish you the best, man.
Thank you.
All right, my brother. See you later.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the show again. Like I said, thank you for everybody that tuned in today, and God bless everybody. You can follow me on Instagram at Zab Judah. Follow me on Twitter at Super Judah. Look out for the company SMG, Super Management Group. You know what I'm saying? We still at it. Keep your eyes and ears open for July. I'm back at it, CBS Sports. And I love everybody. Thank you. Peace out.
All right. All right, there, folks. That was your boy Super Zab Judah over there in the Las Vegas area. Just make sure that y'all are on the lookout for, the management group that is running under, and you follow him on Twitter under Super Judah and on Instagram at Zab Judah. So you'll be able to get the latest out of him by following him on Instagram and Twitter right there, man. So y'all be on the lookout for him and SMG. So if you see the hashtag SMG, you know what it is. All right, we're pretty much like done, good into the overtime session here. So we're gonna be talking about some news that was, going on in the sport. So we're just gonna get right at it. One of the last questions that we had was about Danny Garcia and seeing if he could, fight Zab Judah again, which I would have no problem seeing that fight again, because I'd rather see that fight than the fight that is pretty much going to be on August 1st on the Premier Boxing Champions card. It's going to be on ESPN, and they have Danny Garcia here, and he'll end up fighting Paulie Malignaggi. He just went through negotiations with, I think, Suleiman for the WBC. He has the championship 140, and he just said that he'll give it up instead of fighting Victor Postol with the agreement to fight Matisse in the future if that was going to happen. But now he's going to fight Paulie Malignaggi August 1st on Premier Boxing Champions. And to me, all I got to say about that is, really, bruh? I mean, really? All those guys out there that he could have fought. Like I said, Postol, Matisse, Zab Judah for a rematch in Brooklyn. All of that. And then he just ends up fighting Paulie Malignaggi at some weight of like 142 or 143 pounds instead of defending the junior welterweight championship. So I'm like, man, are you serious? So what y'all think about that one? Hey, Matt, if you're still on the line, you could speak on it.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, this.
See, thing is, like, I don't know. I don't know what to think of what we're going to get out of Danny Garcia moving forward, because the fight against Patterson bring up questions for me. I don't know. I want to see something, obviously, from the entertainment factor. It makes me question that. But then it makes me want to sit and think, what is he going to bring to the fight? I don't know if he's just wanting to go with safe matches to try to build up a resume to maybe look forward to something else more rewarding to him in the future, building even more of a resume, or if he's trying to just kind of cruise with his top 5, top 7, in the weight class and just cruise through, rack up the record and then, go out that way and not really try to take on something, because if you, like Zab was saying from the business side, what are we going to get out of a rematch? He's probably not going to sign it because he wants to see what Zab's going to bring. Is Zab going to be Zab Judah, or is he going to be what we had seen in the latter part of where he had fought? So, what's going to be? Zab sounds ready. I mean, I've seen articles and videos of his training and stuff. He looks like he's in shape, but I'm hard pressed to see many boxers that look too far out of shape. I mean, even Tarver looked pretty decent in his last fight at cruiserweight. So, what are we going to get out of that? He is at heavyweight now. The last fight was at cruiserweight, was it not? And the guy he's supposed to fight was also a previous cruiserweight champion, but they're fighting at heavyweight. Correct. I remember reading that, right? So, I mean, is Zab the next fight? I don't know. He's probably going to want to see what Zab's going to bring, but Zab is a name that will bring more people to, that's a guy. Anytime you match up guys from the tri-state area, yeah, you're gonna get views. I mean, that's how they set that whole thing up with PBS or Pro Boxing Championship, PBC.
Yeah.
I mean, people were like, well, what do we want to see this for? It's anytime you match two guys up from the tri-state area, you have like 3 of the top 5 media markets. You're gonna get a lot of viewers. So you're looking at the business side of it. How much television revenue you're going to get out of it from viewership?
Right.
So you got to look at it like that. So.
But I mean, it's Philly versus Brooklyn. You know what I mean? You can't get any much more than that. I mean, that's no different than when Garcia fought Peterson. That was Philly versus DC, and you know how good that turned out to be. So I don't see how this fight would be anything different.
The benefit was that I think Zab would press him more. That's the thing. You didn't see Lamont start pressing until towards the end of the fight. But I think he thought he was winning rounds when the scorecard. I mean, my card he wasn't, and on a lot of the judges' cards he wasn't either. So he was thinking he was winning rounds, and then it was coming too close, and his corner's like, "You need to be more active." And then he had to start getting more active. And it was just, I don't think he just ran out of real estate. He didn't have enough runway left, So that's really, I think, where he ran out. I mean, he wasn't aggressive enough from the get-go. So I would like to think, seeing Zab fight, Zab does a good job. I've seen him fights, whether he sticks to the game plan or not, because that's been his flaw in fights like against Mayweather. Like, he had Mayweather, if the fight would have continued like the first 4 rounds, and even if he would have fought a couple rounds like he did the rest of the fight, that we wouldn't even talk about Mayweather being undefeated. Zab would have beat him, but he went away from the game plan. So it's not about, and that's just one thing with Zab that we've seen in fights before, that he definitely should have won fights, but he diverted away from the game plan for whatever reason. I don't know. So will he press? Will he press Garcia and try to lure him in when he can to take advantage of counterpunching? Like, what is the game plan going to be? Because if he's going to sit back like Lamont and try to work in counterpunches from the get-go, he's going to lose rounds. But he's going to want to be aggressive at the beginning and get Garcia in a position where he has to start pressing more and then really work his skills with the counterpunching. I mean, being a left-handed fighter like he is, he has certain advantages fighting against Garcia. But, he has his weakness, as any left-handed fighter has, that lead foot. You get outside that lead foot, the whole body is open. The whole side of your body is open. So is that something that he's going to work to protect that a little bit better? Because he's been susceptible to that in fights too, where people get outside his lead foot. So it's I think it'd be an interesting fight. I would want to see it, but I don't know if from the business side, it's something people want to see right away. But who's Danny Garcia going to fight? He's not going to fight somebody that's going to be a tremendous risk. I mean, it's tough to say who he would fight. I don't know. That's the tough part about it. I don't think he's just going to take any fight. He's going to want to be very picky with who he fights, and I think he's going to want to have an edge somehow.
So this is my thing with that right there, and to me, I thought that the Peterson fight should have been a draw. I mean, it all depends on what you like. I mean, if you look at the first 5 rounds, like I told JB before, if you could find one round to give Peterson in the first 6, if you could find one round to give Danny on the back end, what do you have? I mean, it's all in what the public perspective likes. I mean, to me, Peterson touched him early. He didn't engage. I mean, but what did Danny do? I don't think Danny did a lot early in that fight either. I mean, but my thing with Danny, okay, ever since that Matisse fight, and I picked Danny in that fight, Danny, he hasn't looked the same. I mean, since then, he can't go on fighting Paulies. I mean, once you look at how deep the 140 is, I mean, it's other real contenders out there for him to fight. If he want to be in the pound for pound rating, he's got to fight somebody. I mean, Paulie's a part-time fighter right now. Paulie's just fighting for money. You know, his name alone brings him a good payday. You know what I mean? But you can't just wait on the Paulie, so who's going to be after him? I mean, so you're going to give up your title to fight Paulie? I mean, come on. What are you saying to make more money at? Fighting a rematch with Matisse, you know, or fighting Paulie? I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, to me, you know, and I like Danny. Nice guy. Met him in Vegas. But it's like, you got to fight somebody. Man, look at that 140 division. I mean, it's loaded. I mean, and you're going to fight a part-time fighter. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, because like I say, I would have, if anything, he should have gave Peterson a rematch. It was so close, controversy. It's going to bring good money for both guys.
Yep.
I mean, they could have took it straight back to the Barclay. I mean,
exactly.
So you're gonna go away from a potential good fight that even if you lose the fight, you don't lose no market value because you lost to a legitimate guy. You can come right back and do it again.
There's not again.
Right.
If you did that rematch, it's not a headliner. It's not the headliner.
Look,
it has to be a co-main. And
they can,
I mean, they can still put it on PBC.
Listen, hey, they could take that fight right back to the Barclay and sell it again. You got to look at, you got a DC guy and you got a Philly guy. You can go right back to Brooklyn and you can sell that fight again without a problem. I mean, now you're gonna go from fighting Lamont, where you had a lot of people thought Lamont won, and then you had people thought Danny won. To me, I would have came back and at least fought somebody that was on that caliber. I wouldn't have fought Paulie. I mean, I don't see no value in Paulie.
Maybe he got hurt. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he doesn't think
Danny?
He's right now at a point. Yeah, maybe Danny's hurt to a point where he doesn't think he could beat Lamont in a rematch right away or something. Because you'll see that guys will get hurt or guys will get tired. They'll take a fight to take a fight. You know.
I understand that.
Maybe
but
that's what
he's hurt. If he's hurt, he need to put himself on the shelf until he get for him to get better. I mean, that's the easy fix. If you hurt, if you
have to give up the belt and no pay.
I mean, either way, he gave the belt up. He gave the belt up. You know, I mean, he didn't get stripped. He vacated. You know, I mean, so either way,
they gave it up, man.
Yeah, so I mean, either way, the belt's gone. You know, I mean, I don't get Danny on this.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
that's
what I guess that's my point. Like, I really don't see which way he goes with this. I don't see, it doesn't make sense what he's doing. It doesn't make sense who he would want to. See, that's the thing. I almost feel like he don't want to fight anybody right now. That's what I feel like. That's a feel I get. You know,
that's the only thing it can be. I mean, if you listen to Danny, he always say he's gonna go to 47. Okay, he's not going to 47. Okay, all right. There's plenty of fights for him at 47. 47 got a lot of lines lined up. And as you see with Terrence Crawford coming to 40 and what 40 already had, 40's loaded. I mean, Danny is looking for easy fight because, like I say, a piece of Danny stayed in Vegas the night of the Matisse fight. He hasn't been the same fighter since that fight. That's boxing. You know, so, and if you look at Danny, he haven't looked good since that fight, man. His first outing.
He needs to clear his head fight.
Right. Everybody thought he lost. You know, so
he needs a Grambling state. That's what he needs. He needs his Grambling state to get warmed up again and get back into the regular season.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I mean, and I want to touch on one more thing because it was, everybody's talking about, like, it was a question that I think you asked Zab earlier about beta boxing, okay, and where everybody feel like boxing is at. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. Boxing is in a great place, and I'm going to tell you why it's in a great place. Because you're getting it on free TV. Free TV is going to bring boxing back like it was in the 70s and 80s when you had ABC fights. I had an old guy I just spoke to, it ain't been 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said he couldn't afford cable, but he's so glad that he gets to see the fights on local TV. So that alone is bringing in viewers that haven't watched boxing since probably the 80s. You know,
right.
I mean, you gaining viewers that love the sport, but they couldn't pay for the sport. You know, I mean, boxing is in a great place. I mean, it's even in a better place now with all the public viewing. As long as we keep having the PVC and things like that, I mean, it's only going to go up because it's introducing the world to this young stable of fighters. I mean, there's a lot of young guys, and there's something in there that you're going to like. You're going to like one of them, and then you're going to attach yourself to him, and you're going to follow that guy. That's the best thing that happens to boxing. So, I mean, boxing is in a great place.
I think I figured out this angle, as absurd as it is, that Wilder's people are taking with him. Because his only sponsor that I really know of is Everlast. But I don't ever see him really on their promotional stuff. He should be. But they're bringing him along, like, really slowly. Really slowly. Like, he's probably, before you see him fight Klitschko or somebody, one of the top 3 contenders, he's probably going to fight at least another 2 more fights.
Yeah, of course.
Probably on PVC. And I think that's Al. I think that's Al that's slow playing that. He has his fights that are being promoted with Golden Boy, but I don't think he's officially signed to Golden Boy. Because Golden Boy didn't return my phone calls or my emails for any sort of interviews or stuff.
Yeah, but
he took all the communication shit down off his website. He don't respond back on social media. Some of it's because of that damn troll trying to.
Oh yeah. The one that showed him on Twitter. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
Well, that's the thing is that dude, because people make it sound like some dude was just trying to mess with him for no reason at all, and the video makes it seem like it's some racist dude in the video in the gym. But then if you actually go to the guys, like I've watched his videos. Like, the dude just goes around places this is what his YouTube channel is. He goes around trying to pick fights with people, starts getting beat up, and he runs away. That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. Like, he was calling Deontay Wilder's cell phone, talking shit and hanging up. And, like, he has YouTube of it.
Yeah, they say that kid got
like,
mental problems, man.
Wow.
They say he got mental problems. They say the kid ain't all there, man. I mean, it seemed like he would get tired of getting beat up. I mean, every time you turn around, he's on YouTube getting beat up by somebody.
Oh,
yeah,
and you know, you mean the same dude that has those videos where he goes into the neighborhoods and talks, like says something to him, and then he gets like 2-piece. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets a 2-piece and a biscuit to go. That's what happens. He walks in, gets a 2-piece and a biscuit, and he leaves.
Okay, and you're right, but what you just said about Al, and I'm gonna tell you my opinion on that. You said Al's bringing Deontay on slow. I mean, I think Al is to other fighters too. I think what Al does, Al is trying to get everything he can out of Mayweather, because you got to realize Earl is ready right now. Earl's ready for a title shot right now. They bringing Earl along slow too. But with Deontay, I think is different just because he already has a strap. I see Deontay fighting Klitschko probably maybe June next year, about midway next year. I mean,
I'll be surprised if it's by June. I don't think till 2017.
Well, no, it'll be
maybe
before
a farewell fight.
No, you got to look at Klitschko's age, man. Now, Klitschko's age, he's on borrowed time. I mean, Klitschko.
Yeah, he's on borrowed time.
The fight is going to have to happen next year. It can't go beyond. And my thing with Deontay, I mean, Deontay, if you look at the fight last night, I don't know if he was just, we all know that he has some flaws. I mean, even before, he's a work in progress. But if you look at the fight last night, I don't know if he was just trying too hard for the hometown. You know, sometimes that could be your worst enemy, you know.
Well,
right? But, I mean, last night, I mean, he looked terrible to me. He got caught with shots. He should have never got caught with it. And my thing with that, you know, you can't risk it fighting other guys in the heavyweight division. You one punch away from getting sleep. So,
was the third round he got wobbly?
Right.
Like
now,
third or fourth?
Right now,
something like that?
Exactly. So imagine if that would have been somebody else with a little more pop. The fight would have been over. So in Dante's defense, he's going to have to cash out. Klitschko's going to bring him the most money. If he don't fight Klitschko next year, he's one punch from what? Not fighting him at all, because he'll get knocked out.
You know,
and if he gets knocked out by a mid-grade dude, that'll be it. It'll be a wrap for a while.
Right.
Soon.
If you look at Klitschko going to get some of the European money first. They was talking his mandatory or Tyson Fury, either one of them. Then if after his mandatory, he'll probably pay whoever some step-aside money and fight Deontay next year sometime. He's going to have to, because if not, I mean, Klitschko will be there. I mean, just the way his style, the way he fights, and he uses his distance so well. But Deontay, he's so reckless, I mean, he could get knocked out any given night.
Well, what I understood about last night's fight and what I was told is he's been working on his boxing. He's trying to hone his boxing skills and be more patient, trying to let the fight come to him. The problem is he's a puncher and not a boxer. So, you know, I understand where they're trying to go with him in his training to get him the better skills so he can go later in fights, you know?
Hold on. Listen, I don't agree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. Deontay was a bronze medalist in the Olympics. If you didn't learn how to box in amateurs, you're not going to learn how to box as a pro. You learn how to box.
Well, it's not that he didn't know how to box. It's just they're saying that he needs to improve those skills to fight somebody at a higher level, because Klitschko will box. Like you see these guys like. What, Fury's been doing this for 5 years, and the guy has 20 almost 30 wins in 5 or 6 years?
Right.
That's a ridiculous pace.
Yeah.
And the dude's huge. He's almost 7 foot tall.
But my thing with Deontay, he uses his jab well. Deontay's biggest problem to me is he don't use his distance well. Deontay can box, but Deontay don't know how to keep his distance. He crowds himself inside when he needs to be about another half a step back to keep him on the end of his punches. I mean, you don't move your feet unless the guy's moving his feet, right? If the guy stops, you stop. You know, Deontay, as you see, he's in too close a lot of times, so he don't have a lot of pop on his punches. And then he's out of place. He shouldn't be where he's at, and that's why Deontay gets caught. Like I say, you could even put Deontay in there with any guy that can punch decent. Like me and JB was talking about it earlier. I mean, that could have been old Shannon Briggs last night. And if Shannon would have caught him on the chin the way old boy did, he'd have been asleep.
I don't know if he would knock Briggs out, though. See, because what you're saying, the distance.
No. I'm just saying, the punch that he got caught with in the third round, we all know Briggs can punch if he can't do anything else. The fight could have possibly been over. You know, anybody that can punch, you know, he's so reckless, all it takes is one, and the fight will be over. You know, but like I say, he got a good trainer, Mark Breland. He's a great trainer. But like I say, I think the biggest thing with him is his anxiety. He gets so excited that he gets off the script because, I mean, he crowds himself way too much, and he's out of place when he's in. If he's fighting from the outside using his jab, he boxes pretty decent. but it's just when he's coming in for the kill. When he's coming in for the kill, he's out of position horribly.
He was quoted saying, I think it was with Boxing 24, that he didn't want to make it it wouldn't have served the fight purpose if he would have ended it early. He wanted to let it linger.
Right. Yeah, right. He's fully, you know what? Believe me, he was doing everything in his power to try to get him out there early. Old boy was just, he was game. He was a game fighter, and he refused to lay down because that's what everybody expected him to do. They thought he was going to come in, he was a tomato can.
That's how those Mexican fighters are, man. You can't just go in there and wreck shop. You know, that's the thing is, you know, I was talking with a guy here in Puerto Rico. He's a trainer here in Puerto Rico. The same guy I was talking with Zab about. And the problem with the fighters in Puerto Rico, you'll get these guys 16, 17, 18, 20-0, but they're fighting a lower grade Puerto Rican boxer where they're not
a lot of locals.
Well trained. They're fit. You know, they're very talented. They're very talented, but they don't have any skill set. You know, they don't have the tech. There's no technique, and then they'll go up against a less talented, better technical bull fighter. A Mexican fighter has like 6 losses, and just get their ass whooped. And that's part of the problem. So, you know, with you see the Mexican fighters. It doesn't matter if it's from California, Nevada, Texas, or Mexico. They all kind of have the same kind of thing. They're hard to knock out. You got to wear them down, and it takes a special kind of patience and boxing and picking the right shots to go in, wear them down, take what's given to you, and then move forward when it's time. You know. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like he was trying to do too much too early. I think he got kind of gassed, and he got caught in the third.
All right. But I'm going to ask you guys this right here. All right? Now, it's fair to say Deontay, he looked so much better against Deverne. I mean, is it because he respected him as a fighter and he knew he couldn't just walk through him? Because if you look at, that's why, you know, I give him a bad grade for last night, but I don't give him a bad grade overall because I look at the Deverne fight. I mean, he fought a little more patiently, I guess because he respected him more, and he wasn't expected to come in. And he probably had a little fear because Deverne can crack. You know, he got decent power. I mean, he was the champ.
Right.
So, I mean, I sort of look at the fight last night, and I give him a bad grade for the night, but I still think he's a legitimate contender. And I think if he could get over the anxiety and be patient, I think this kid has the athletic ability to cause Klitschko problems if he works on his defense and works on his distance and keep him getting hit. Because, like I say, Houston's on his side. Klitschko's on borrowed time.
Right. Exactly. It's on
borrowed
time.
I almost...
I think... for me, I think Wilder is... I think he probably just, kind of fought to his competition. And while he stepped up against Deverne, they kind of like overlooked Eric Molina here. And by overlooking Eric Molina, his performance came out not as good as what it should have been. Because my expectation was he was supposed to blow out Eric Molina in at least 3 rounds. I mean, Molina is not he's not, even close to being a top 25 heavyweight. So you should be able to take that dude within 3 rounds. But by
like
overlooking him, he
maybe
just let Molina last longer than he should have been.
Right, but that seemed like that was the mind state that Deontay had coming in. Deontay was going to please his fans. He wanted an early knockout. He got something different. But like I say, when you look at the Deverne fight, he fought patiently. He looked good. I mean, he looked good in that fight. I mean, he still had a few technical flaws that you could see, but overall, he looked good. So that's why I say, when I look at last night, I mean, I give him a bad grade for the night, but I think this kid right here, Mark Breland and have him right, and I think he will be the future of the heavyweight division. You know, it's all about.
Gotcha.
Let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
I would almost rather see Wilder do the rematch of the Olympic fight against Anthony Joshua rather than see him fight this Molina shit. I'd rather see that because that would be a good fight, and that would be a good test for him if he's going to go up against Klitschko or if he goes up against Jennings or Fury, because that puts him more in that realm of heavyweights where he's going to have to fight or defend against. I don't think Molina.
I think Anthony Joshua will have at least one fight within the UK first before he goes up against Wilder. I mean, right now he is like I said earlier in the show before you got in, he's the number 2 rated guy in the WBC for the heavyweight ranking. So you have Povetkin there at number 1, and then Anthony Joshua there at number 2. So you're gonna have
that would
Wilder,
be fair. Joshua Povetkin fight, the winner of that fights Klitschko.
Well, I mean they can do that too, but I don't think
the loser fights Wilder.
You know what? I think if you look at Joshua and Wilder, that's the future. Brian Jennings, Wilder beat him right now. He's too long for him. And it ain't like Brian got that one punch knockout power. He's not even like a legitimate heavyweight. You know.
He's a grinder. He's a cruiserweight, light heavyweight, but he grinds away. Yeah.
Right.
But he's American. That's why I say. The only reason I bring up Bryant is because he's American, because Americans want to see Americans fighting Americans, and that's how you introduce more of the talent to America, by putting them against each other.
Yeah.
Right. I go along with
I'm just saying from a marketing standpoint. Not even like I don't even necessarily care. I'll watch any fight, but it's a fight. I mean that's the great thing about boxing. You have 2 people fighting. Who doesn't stop to watch a goddamn fight? Everybody.
Right.
Everyone wants to see it. Even when you're in a street fight, you like, I'm gonna back up because one of these dudes might have a gun, but I'm still gonna watch it farther away.
That's right.
I'm still gonna watch it.
If you go by the school playground, you see 2 kids fight, you're gonna stop.
Yeah. Ooh, that shit. What is that? Hey. Did Claussell ever tell you about that time we went to what was it? It was the Cain Velasquez fight, and we watched it over at that Beef O'Brady's over off right over there off Bush by the apartment. You know where Bush and just off Dale Mabry and Bush there.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that far back. Yeah,
we come out and two dudes are jawing each other. They start going. They miss a whole bunch of punches, and the women get in the way, back them up. The women start jawing at each other and yelling at the dude. Dude went up to the one dude's girlfriend. One hit her quick, dropped her ass. She was out.
Wow.
The other one went over to his girlfriend, same thing, knocked her out. I was like, what the hell is going on? Because they were about to go at it, and their friends yelling at them. They never actually fought. They went and picked their broads up, got in their cars, and they left. And I was like, what the hell just happened here? You know,
that's crazy.
I'm confused. They decided not to fight each other, so they knocked each other's girls out, and then they left. Like, this was the most bizarre shit I've ever seen, but I had to watch it. You know, I feel I'm richer for having that experience for whatever strange, absurd reason there is. But, you know, like I said, people watch anything. I don't know if I ever told you about that, but people watch fights.
Yeah, they'll watch it if it's live and everything like that. So that's something that it always catches the eye of people. Is that, you know, if a fight's going on and if it's like a real big fight in boxing or if it's a fight live that's, you know, right down the street from you pretty much will have that initial interest that, You want to actually see what goes on in that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why boxing is something that'll, still be a popular sport, from now until 20 years from now until 40 years from now.
Right, of course.
Hey,
I'm gonna go into the last part because we got about 10 minutes left. So I got one other. What's going on?
I wanted to ask you about Verdejo. I don't know if you saw the fight or not. You don't have to talk on it. I didn't know if you saw it or not.
Nah, I ain't see that Verdejo fight yet. Nah, I haven't seen it yet. I'll see if I can check it out a little bit later on.
Hey, check it out. Check it out.
He's thing that we got.
He's up and coming too.
Yeah, since we got Matt over here that's from Tampa, if we talk about Clarksville, the other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick that's also part of a really bruh type of thing is Keith Thurman fighting at the Sun Dome against Luis Collazo. If you thought Garcia fight Valadaci was something, I mean Thurman fighting Collazo at the Sun Dome is like, come on, really, man. You're a champion in the welterweight division. You're one of the top 5 people in your weight class. And you go through a tough fight against Robert the Ghost Guerrero, and people really like that fight. The effort that came out of Guerrero and the things that Thurman did, and now you want to turn around and fight Luis Collazo in Tampa. I know it's your local area and everything, but it's time for you to prove that you are the best in your division, and to do that, you don't fight guys like Luis Collazo. So for that, I'm like, really, bruh?
But you know what, JB? I go along with everything that you're saying. And I say this about him and about Garcia. If they would have fought another tough fight, I would give him a fight like that. But you fought Robert the Ghost, right? And first guy to ever put Ghost on the canvas. He looked good. I mean, you got to come back with somebody tougher than Collazo. I mean, Collazo is nothing. Now, if he had came back with somebody legitimate, I mean, because look at Adrian. Adrian fought good opposition. He's coming back fighting tough opposition. I mean, you got to at least match that. That's what I expect out of you. I mean, if you are...
And it's Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, man, what in the world you got going on? Look, I mean, that's at least what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see you come back with another opposition like you had before. Because, like I say, if you look at Adrian, if Adrian win, lose, or draw, right, against Porter, Adrian's looking like he's putting himself in line to be the next king, because, I mean, look at his resume. He ain't taking easy fights. He's fighting tough opposition. And,
right.
Go ahead.
I could actually. I'm gonna defend him on that. But finish your thought though.
I mean, because I'm just saying. I mean, you hollering for Mayweather. You want to be the next one to fight Mayweather. You want to be the next one to fight this one and that one. Man, fight. Okay, why he didn't fight Kell Brook? I mean, fight Kell. I mean, somebody's got to try Kell. Somebody that's, you a young lion. I mean, you say you can crack, but one thing I say, and I say it every week, they don't want to fight a guy like Kell, a guy that's elusive. He can box and he can move. He makes you reset. If you look at Keith Thurman, everybody he faced, they stay right in front of him. The one guy that he fought, the guy that was from Italy or whatever, that moved a little bit, he don't look good, and that guy wasn't nothing. I mean, it ain't like he was
even
a
Diaz
slick
didn't look good.
Right. I mean,
Diaz,
like I said, everybody he fights stand right in front of him where his matchmaker knows what he's doing with him. Hey, they trying to build a fan base. They trying to make him excited because they know his flaws. That's one thing about a matchmaker. They know what you do good against. They know what you do poorly against. And as soon as he fights somebody that's elusive and slick, he will be exposed. He will be exposed. only reason he want Mayweather because a Brinks truck come with it. Everybody wants a Brinks truck, but they know he's not gonna do well with a guy that's a elusive fighter. As long as they stand right in front of him, he can crack. We all know that, but I don't want to see him fight Collazo.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really want to see that fight either. But just for what you mentioned before, I don't think it's a bad move right now. He's still early enough in his career. He can take like a fight like this, but he needs to get that Tampa Bay area. That's the number 16 market in the country, and they don't very much know who the fuck he is. I'm be straight with you. You know, I work for the
right.
I was with ESPN, the affiliate there. They don't ever talk about boxing. Even when they did, they were force-fed Mayweather and Pacquiao, and it was grueling to listen to. You know, the guys there, they do a great job of programming and stuff, but they don't bring these. I mean, when you have guys like Tarver that live in the area, you have guys. You got One Time lives in the area. You have Jeff Lacey. He lives in the area. How's Rock Riley? How's Rock Riley's old ass getting him to come on and talk about this stuff? He's getting Chris Bird to come on and talk about stuff. But you can't. You're leading. You're the ESPN affiliate. How aren't you getting these boxers to come in, dude? You talk about you. They bring this dude. I can't even remember the guy's name. He's a NASCAR driver. He's from the St. Pete area, and every year, the 2 races they have at Daytona, he comes in for a 15-minute segment every single year to talk about auto racing. And I'm like, I don't get it. You got a guy that lives probably 15 minutes from your studio. You can't get Thurman to come in? Like,
didn't Winky Wright fight a few times down there locally, and it did pretty well?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and Winky Wright too. Like, how would you call him Winky?
I mean, I thought Winky
James just
had a couple times. And then
Zab
Berto
Judah.
too.
Zab Judah, a multi-divisional champion. We had him on the show tonight. You know, I mean, you telling me they couldn't get Zab Judah on the ESPN affiliate?
Okay,
you serious?
What about Berto, bro? I mean, he could have fought Berto. Both of them as local guys. That would be big. You know.
It's not even about local guys. They're not looking for local guys. He's looking to fight locally. The problem is not necessarily the matchup. It's who the fuck wants to go to Tampa to box and to the Sundome. It's not even like it's not the Amley. You know. The funny thing is, China the Dragon White. China the Dragon White fought last year, a year and a half ago. Or China Dragon Smith. I keep calling him White. I don't know where the white come from. I keep saying that. And he's a black dude. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Anyways, China Dragon Smith fought there a year and a half ago to win a belt back, and people win. You know, I mean, it was at least as much as a Rays game.